Okay, so I just cleared all my preferences so that it's as back to square one as possible, so I can show you how I set up my interface. Because if I don't show you how I set up my interface, then you might not understand where I'm going, what I'm clicking. So the one thing that doesn't reset is I think that some of these are normally on the bottom here, but everything is up on the right. So that's task, console, report view, selection view. And by the way, I have everything in here under panels turned on, but it's still not quite the way I want. See, now task is something that is normally up here. You know, you have model and task. I don't like it over there. So what's it doing? Something's frozen. That sucks. So I'm going to hit stop. I'm going to see if this comes unlocked. Nope. It doesn't want to come unlocked. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to restart FreeCAD. And hopefully it's not stuck. Okay, so here we are. There's the task. Because I needed to grab right here with a dummy. Okay, so first thing is I'm going to grab this. I'm going to put it over here. The idea is I only want the model here. I don't even want the view and the data because I want to see all of the model and the data at the same time. So to do that, I go to Preferences. And right here, General, first tab, Tree View and Property View Mode combined, independent. Apply. Okay. See, I did a bunch of weird stuff. So now I'm going to go, oh, restart required. Okay, I'll restart now. Oops, look like I might have started two. Okay, we don't need two. Let's do just one. Okay, so here I have the tree view all by itself. And here I have everything else. So we need to do one more thing. And that is for Sketcher, I want the option to hide dependent to be false in general. Let's see, it's probably under display. Here we go. Hide all objects that depend on the sketch. I don't want that. And now, most of the time it makes sense when you're in part design, but for Silk, it makes sense to not hide things. So I'm going to apply, hit OK. And I'm going to show you why right now, why I don't want to hide things. So I'm going to make a new document, go to Silk, and the first thing I need is a Sketcher sketch. And I normally have a little toolbar here that has that Sketcher sketch right here. I'll show you how to make it another time, but right now I'm just going to go back to Sketcher, create my sketch, XY plane, back to, well, no, actually I'm fine right here. So we're going to take a tool for a line, and we're going to do one line, and then another line, and then we're going to join them. What I'm showing here is that you don't have to draw them in order anymore. It used to be that you had to, but now you don't. So here we go. I've drawn 3 lines end to end. I'm going to go close. Now I can go back to Silk, and I'm going to select that sketch. All right. What we're going to do first is we're going to do this tool right here. So you see it has a pretty long tooltip. It might be hard to read. So if you don't have anything selected, you just hit the function, and you get a whole lot of text. And so it tells you that for the usage section is from here to here. It can tell you that you can pre-select one of the following. So you could do this bullet point, or this bullet point, or this bullet point. The first bullet point is one line, one sketch of 3 lines connected end to end. Great, that's what we have. So we pre-select this one sketch, and then we apply the function, right? If we do this option, that means we're not doing these 2 options. So we're doing this, and then we apply the function. Select, apply the function. And we just created this object, but we don't see anything in the window. Well, that's because this object that we just created was underneath the sketch. Sometimes it'll be slightly different, but in this case it's the same thing, so it's hard to see. So we leave the sketch hidden, then we have this thing here. You look under Property View, you see that it has inputs, a sketch, some weights, don't mess with the weights, a reverse property, a tolerance property. There's not too much you want to do over here, but here's this object. You select it, you hit this one, and it creates a curve. So now this curve has as input this object right here. And we can come back and edit it later. So we have created a sketch, a control poly, and a cubic curve. Now we go back to the sketch, and because we have the option to hide dependent false, and we can see that, actually it doesn't show us. That's odd. Anyway, because let's go back to the task view, which is a normal thing for the sketcher. Because we are not hiding the things that depend on it, when we edit the sketch, oh, we also see it's supposed to update, but I have to do one more thing on a brand new install. And that is I have to say auto update. And now I've hit auto update, and I'm going to edit again, and see now everything snapped back together. By editing the sketch, it updates the control polygon, and the cubic curve updates based on the control polygon. So that's how you work with a curve in Silk. The idea is you can see it, you can dimension it, and unlike a sketcher NURBS, you can directly apply, let's see, where is it? What does it want? I'm trying to apply a normal constraint. And I just want, I don't want coincident, I want horizontal, vertical. I want to be specific. I want this to be horizontal, and I want this to be vertical, and then this guy right here, I'm going to say that I'm going to throw a dimension on here. I'm going to select this, select that, hit it. I guess I haven't played too much with this new smart dimensioning tool, but it does what I expected. Right here, I'm going to say this is 10 degrees. The idea is it's a normal sketch, and you can use all the normal tools you would expect from the sketcher. Okay, so let's close this guy. That was the first one. Let's make another one. Let's go back to Sketcher. Remember, normally I just have a little toolbar to do it, but I'm just starting over. So Sketcher, Sketch. I'm going to do it same thing on the XY plane, and this time I'm going to draw an arc. But I'm going to make sure that it's less than 90 degrees, right? I don't want to go too big, otherwise it's going to cause problems. But here we go. I just create an arc. I select this new, oh, I got to go back to Silk. I select this new sketch, and I also give it a control polygon. And so it created, this time we can see the difference right off the bat, right? Because the control polygon is not exactly the same thing as the sketch, so we see it be different. Now, the nice thing about this control polygon is when you apply a curve to it, it creates a perfect arc. This is a NURBS, and this is an arc. If we go to its data view, actually no, if we look at the control poly, under the data view, you'll see that it has very special weights. These are the exact weights that you need for an arc of that size. So it's exactly an arc, but it's available to work on with just as a regular NURBS. What's another thing we can do? We can go back to Sketcher. Let's just get a sketch, and we're still on the XY plane. If we want to, we can draw a single line. If we're really lazy and we don't want to set up 3 lines and we're pretty sure we're happy with a straight line, we just pick one thing, go right here, go back to Silk, apply the control polygon. You see underneath it has split it and create automatically with 3 lines. And if we select it, we can make a curve out of it. I didn't need 2, I just need the 1. You see, it's just a straight line. So you might ask yourself, why do you need a NURBS curve if it's just a straight line? It's because now that it's a NURBS curve, I can mix all of these things together to create surfaces. And let me show you what I mean. Let's make another sketch. But this time we're not going to go on XY. We're going to go on XZ. And I'm going to do one of those single lines, right? I'm going to go right from the origin. I'm going to go, actually, I'm not going to go straight up. I'm going to go kind of up at an angle, randomly like this. Okay, so I've got this sketch over here. Actually, we're not going to use this one over here. So let's get rid of that curve. Let's get rid of that control polygon. Let's get rid of this straight line right here. But let's take our new one. Back to Silk. Grab this guy. Make a control polygon. Select the control polygon. Make a curve. Go ahead and hide the sketch. Hide these guys. And now I'm going to do a bunch of stuff. I'm going to go back to the first one. And I'm going to say, you know what? This point here, that is actually also going to be at the origin. So there it is right here. And then I'm going to move this over here. And I think I had a dimension in there. I don't really want that. I don't really want to work with dimensions. I rarely work with them. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take this point here, right there, and I'm going to say that it is fixed. Where is my fixed constraint? I know it's in here somewhere. Constraint block the selected edge from moving. No, that's not what I want. I want this guy. I want a fixed point constraint. You know, it doesn't matter. I'll just create 2 dimensions because that's what I really want. I just want to be able to control the width and the height independently and precisely. So let's say this is going to be 200. Let's say this is going to be 70. Okay, is there anything open on here? Oh yeah, we still have this. Let's play around with this a little bit. Well, let's just do the same thing with this guy. Let's dimension it directly right here. Let's say that's 50, and then again but this time vertical, and let's say that's 70. Okay, so we have this curve completely constrained. And now it also lines up on the corner with this guy. Let's take this arc sketch that we have right here. I think it's this guy. Yep, it's this guy. Take this arc sketch, and I'm going to attach it up here. But actually, I'm not going to attach it on the curve. I'm going to attach it to the sketch. So I turn this sketch back on. I grab my arc sketch. I go map mode, and I'm going to pick the point at the top. Okay, that's fine for now. So it kind of moved it up, but it didn't really attach to this point. That's because when we were in here, we were just drawing up an empty space. But if I grab this point and this point, and I make them coincident, let me just close for a second, show you what I did. I connected, see, I made these two share the origin, and I just moved my arc so that this point is connected to this guy right here. Now let's move it around from there. Let's say, just going to grab this over here. The idea is I want to be kind of like this curve, but not exactly. So I'm going to take this point and fix it in place. Come on, give me a dimension. So right here, let's do 120. And let's pick this guy, and let's do this vertical dimension. Let's say that's 50. And then actually, I'm going to do something fun. Let's grab this guy. Oh, I want to flip it around. I can't do it by dragging the center, but I can. Oh, no, it doesn't let me do that either. Oh, that's a bummer. See, what I was trying to do was get the center point over here. You know what I can do, though? I bet you I can make it flip if I dimension this guy vertically. And see, right now it's 100. I'm going to make it minus 100. And I got it to pop up over here. So now, that's kind of tricky, but now that I've popped it up over here, now I'm going to be able to do what I wanted, which was to, come on. I just want to get it in here, kind of like this. Right, see, now it's letting me, okay. So, you know what, that's good enough. Right here, I need to go back to my task view to close this. All right, so now I have these 3 curves, 3 sketches, 3 polygons, 3 curves. I need one more thing. Let me go to Sketcher, get another sketch. I'm going to make something special that I call a node sketch. And a node sketch is 1 circle and 1 line. And let's make this more reasonable. Normally I dimension everything, but I'm going to try to move a little bit faster. So So let's say I just want something like this, and this is going to be the end of a curve, and this is going to be a direction. So I close this. I'm going to copy this and paste it a couple of times, because I want to make sure that I save one that hasn't moved. So I'm going to leave this one over here. Then I grab this guy, and I'm going to map it. And what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to pick... Oh, I need to... No, you know what? Let me cancel. I need to hide some stuff, because now I only want to see sketches. In general, I like to attach sketches to sketches and nothing else. So this is what I want to move. I want to put it at this point right here. And see, right now it's saying translate origin. Sometimes that's fine, but that means it's still on the same plane. Oh, I have the wrong navigation mode. This is what's throwing me off. I want SolidWorks. Here we go. Now I think it's okay. This thing right here, sometimes it's fine if it's flat, because right now all it's done is translate the origin. Let's do one more thing. We've picked the endpoint as the first reference. Let's pick the curve itself. And now it's saying constricted. That's not what I want. I want normal to edge. So the first point that I picked is now the origin of the sketch. But the sketch plane has been rotated so that it is normal, which means perpendicular to this curve. And what that does is when I go to edit this sketch, now I'm in this plane and I can do something like this. Hey, I'm going to point it kind of towards here. Just going to point it kind of towards here. Nothing too crazy. And now this guy here, I'm going to take the next sketch available, which is this guy right here. I'm going to map mode it again, and I'm going to map mode it the same way. First the point, and then the line. I don't know what it didn't like. Oh, it's because for some stupid reason, it knows what the references I want, but it decided that it was going to be a plane by 3 point, and then it didn't know how to do it, obviously because I only gave it 2 objects. So all I have to do, even though it's giving me all these errors, all I have to do is click normal to edge. And now normal to edge makes sense with a vertex and an edge. Thanks, FreeCAD, for jumping to report view. Anyway. And so now we have these 2 things that I called node sketches. Let's go ahead and hide the third one, because we're not going to use it right now. I have these 2 things. One kind of points over here, one kind of points over there. You notice that they're not even in the same plane or anything. But I'm going to select them both and go back to Silk. That'll help. I'm going to select the 2 of these, and I'm going to hit the first tool again. And boom, it creates, let me hide this to show you. Instead of drawing 3 lines in a plane, I created these 2 things that I call nodes, and I put them anywhere I want in 3D space, and it draws a connector. So this is a 3-dimensional connector. It's not in any particular plane. And I can go back in here, and I can edit it, and the polygon updates. And of course, if I add a curve to it, now I have a 3D curve. And this 3D curve I can control completely from these 2 sketches. Let's do the other one. See right here. See right there. Let's see, like, you might say, like, oh, you're saying they're 3D, you're saying they're not in the same plane, but I'm not sure if that's true. They kind of look like they're in the same plane. Let me show you. I go back to this sketch. I edit it, and I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to go like this. Look, do you see how this sketch is following here? And now you can really see that they're not in the same plane. So I have a completely 3-dimensional curve that is defined by 2 2-dimensional sketches. And so now let's do something fun. Let's hide all the sketches. And let's turn on the polygons and the curves. All right, see, I have 4 curves. One was built by a sketch of 3 lines. One came directly from a true arc. One was just a straight line because either I actually want a straight line or I was just being lazy. And I was just like, for now, a single line is easy to draw, so I'll just throw that in there. And then this one here, I connected completely 3D. Let's hide the curves. And now I need to think, if I want to make this a surface, I have to decide what's inside and what's outside. I say that the way we're looking at it right now, That's going to be looking at it from the outside. So I grab the first curve, then I'm going to go counterclockwise. So from this curve, I'm going to go to this area, and then I'm going to go to this area, and then I'm going to go to this area. So I've selected all 4 control polygons, not the curves. I don't work from the curves, I work from the control polygons. I selected them counterclockwise, and now I'm going to go to this tool right here, 4x4, the red 4x4, control grid 4x4. And I just created a 3-dimensional grid based on these 4 edges. And when I take that grid and I apply a 4x4 surface, I get this. Looks pretty rough, right? That's because right now it is being rendered at fairly low quality, which is actually a good thing, right? If you trust that the surface is good, is of decent quality, then you can leave it at low display quality and your computer will run a lot faster. But we don't trust anything, so we need to check. Let's make this 1 degree of angular deflection. Oh, FreeCAD was hanging on me. I don't know why it took so long. Let's do 1 degree, hit enter, and then here, this 0.5, I'm going to make that 0.05. And see, you see how long it's taking to react? Ugh. And now, look at that. That is much prettier. You see how everything got way smoother right here? Everything got way smoother. And now the real fun begins. I go back to this sketch. See how I had everything assigned with dimensions? Let's take this guy, 70. Oh, no, that's 150 now. Boom. Fully controlled, fully constrained. Can do whatever I want. This guy right here, 50? I don't think so. 75. All right? See, now the advantage of having these constraints is that when you edit the dimension, that means it's only going to update the surface 1 time. And that way it's not going to hang up your computer trying to calculate every single position in between. But even if you don't have this dimension, the way it's set up is really cool. I can grab this and I can do anything I want. See, if the computer was trying to recalculate the surface as I'm doing this, it would completely hang up, right? Especially at high quality settings. But right now it's only going to update when I drop the mouse. Boom. So you see, you choose the quality setting that you want to work at. If you want the computer to react, really fast, you need to drop the quality setting. So let's do that right now. Let's go back to this cubic surface. We don't have to close out of the sketch or anything. We just go back to the property view. We go right here. Let's go back to what it was. What was it, like 28? Let's just make it 20. And this guy was like 0.5. Let's make it 0.2. And that should be good enough. It should be enough that now when I drag and drop, boom, you see how fast that was? You decide based on how good your computer is what you want this value to be. And you can edit in 3D in near real time at the quality level of your choosing. Let's make it really fun. Let's go ahead and just delete this dimension too so we have a little bit more freedom. So you can grab this and you can do whatever you want. Let's say we're happy with this sketch, okay? Because we're happy with these 3 lines. Remember that we're at slightly low quality. Let's do the next one. What's the next one? It's this arc. Nah, I like the arc. The arc is fine. Let's leave the arc alone. Then the next one is a... Oh, remember the next one was just a straight line? We can edit that too. We edit the sketch and the control polygons and the curves and the control grid and the surface all updates. So it's a bunch of setup. All of this for one surface, right? But you get a lot of juice out of it. You can do a lot of stuff and you get a lot of control. And the reason you get the control and this thing updates instead of crashing all the time is because I work through these systems and this is a structure that FreeCAD is capable of handling. It's a lot of steps, but it's actually just enough steps that FreeCAD doesn't crash all the time. So see, this is getting too ugly again. I'm going to go ahead and turn the quality back up. Let's see, let's just maybe a little something like these. Let's do 1 degree. Come on, here we go, 1 degree, and this time we'll do 0.1, so it's not too crazy. Okay. See, now we have some, that surface that looked all broken before, now it's back to nice quality. If this was part of a larger object, and the larger object looked good, there would be nothing wrong with this. Let's get back into our little node sketches. Those are really fun. See, I have see this guy right here. It's pulling this way. Let's just get over here. See, we kind of unpinched it a lot at this time. Let's drag it all the way out here. Let's puff this up. Oh, that's starting to hang a little bit. It's a little bit much for FreeCAD. But it's not too bad. I mean, we made it pretty far. We've been going at it for a while. Hopefully it doesn't completely crash on us. But I mean, you know, just if you save regularly, you should be fine. Oh, look, hey, it didn't even crash completely. So this time I'm going to try again. I'm going to do just a tiny move. See if that helps. Sometimes small moves compute easier than big moves. No, it's working hard. It's working hard. So, but anyway, that's the basics of how it works. There's a lot of steps, but it isolates the impact. You have control over each little thing in a specific area. See, if it doesn't crash this time, I'm going to go ahead and say close. That's it. I'm going to say, okay, now I've done all my editing. You see I have my surface. I'm happy with it. One thing that helps long term is that as you work with these, you start to recognize what kind of shape you're going to get out of this control polygon. It takes a while, but eventually you start getting it. And when you get to that point that you kind of know what the control polygon is doing, and you kind of know what the sketches are doing, you can work directly with them. See, for example, this guy right here we were editing that was making a mess and how it was almost crashing everything. Because we've hidden the surface, now we can go back to editing, and now it doesn't hang up on us. So if you've got a model that's taking too long to update and you know what you want to do, but it's taking too long, just hide the surface, come back to edit, and now it's not going to hang up the machine anymore. Because when these grids get too distorted, that's when the surfaces get hard to compute for the program. So you can just come back to the sketches, bring them back to being a little bit more normal, a little bit more reasonable. And normal and reasonable means that this grid is not too distorted. So here we have a lot of distortion, like really long, really short. Let's fix that up again just a little bit. See, it's one thing that's really nice about the circles is that not only do they tell FreeCAD which way to grow the curve, but they also make it really easy to click onto and find the sketches. So let's see, this guy, I want it to be more reasonable. I'm going to put it over here. Maybe even a little bit further down, kind of like 1/3 of the way down. Okay, and actually this other little guy at the bottom, he's really tiny and twisted. So let's edit him. And let's put it on the same side as the other one. Okay. Okay, it kind of left it messed up. Let's turn the surface back on and see what it actually looks like. It's a little bit pinchy, right? It's a little bit pinchy right here, but not too bad, right? There may be a legitimate reason to make a curve like that. You know, when you look at it by itself, it kind of looks all right. Anyway, that's the first 1, 2 tools over here, plus this guy over here, number 3, and this guy over here, number 4. I hope you enjoyed.